and welcome to a new Energy Crew podcast. I'm your host, JP Warren, and I want to thank y'all for tuning in right now. We're kind of doing something new here, something that I'm going to be trying out that is kind of a new practice for me. I'm not really comfortable with it, but I do think it's gonna help me, and it's also potentially help someone out there as well. Maybe a few people. And that's kind of the whole goal of this, to kind of, whether it's the interviews that we have on this podcast to highlight leaders' strengths, vulnerabilities, weaknesses, passions, kind of where they sit. It kind of correlates to kind of where I'm at right now personally in my life. I am very interested in hearing about people's passions. I think that it's a refreshing change to conversations that are happening outside of the normal, boring, mundane business, corporate conversations that we normally have. And I also think it's important to talk about, our vulnerabilities or blind spots that we all face. I know that, a lot of things on surface, it can look a certain way. It can, whether you're scrolling through Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever social media websites out there, it can certainly feel like everyone's got their shit together, that everyone's doing great, everyone's not worried about anything, and we've all got it figured out. But it's something that I tell my daughter, we don't have it figured out. We're learning. We're trying to learn. And vulnerabilities to me, I think, is an important part because, again, we're all going through the same struggles but different struggles. And the third thing is strengths. I think when you're discussing people's strengths, is kind of a little hack on how to improve quickly in something. I love, kind of talking to different leaders and kind of understanding a little bit more about their strengths and why they're so good at what they do. And not just in their role, but kind of, whether it's dealing with people, whether it's building a business, whether it's communicating an idea or visualizing an idea. I think it's so fascinating to hear, to learn from, to kind of pick up stuff. So part of my journey is, that yes, I'm fascinated with these buckets, but also personally, I have been kind of going through some self-reflection, some discovery through this entire process when I started my company almost 2 years ago. I think actually in 2 days will be a 2-year anniversary of Connection Crüe. And during that time, and I'm honestly still facing situations today, and I expect to be facing situations throughout my entire life where I'm kind of mentally processing stuff and dealing with stuff. And I was thinking, how cool would that be if I got out of my comfort box, if I got out of my shell, and I was able to provide some sort of kind of insight on kind of the either situations that I've been faced with, and kind of a change in perceptions that have helped me along the way. And it could potentially help you along the way too, if you're kind of find yourself in the same boat. No, you don't have to have your a job or a company started to kind of gain insight and some nuggets of knowledge from this. It could be kind of whatever you're faced with in life. I try to make it general, and I also try to dial it in a little bit. But obviously, before we begin, another I need to plug on kind of who's sponsoring this, who's bringing this to you. It's Exec Crüe. Exec Crüe is one of my passions, is bringing good people together with good people. One of my passions is exchanging knowledge ideas when it comes to people's passion subjects and how that can benefit not just the community, but also people's professional and personal lives. So we're building a community of leaders, of founders, of executives, of successful executives and aspiring leaders who want to come together and who want to learn about people's different strengths, people's different passions, kind of the ideas. Everyone could be a student, everyone can be a teacher. I've learned, and I've probably gained more insight, perception, and knowledge just through conversations with friends and people that have been in my shoes before, than I have at any podcast or lunch and learn or whatever else is out there, self-help books or anything like that. I think the power of conversations, the power of connection is going to be what sets us apart and what drives us throughout our careers. Not just when there's those little bumps in the road, when it's those oh shit moments that you kind of find yourself isolated, where you do need a network, you do need connection. But also, I think it's going to be great to kind of elevate people's knowledge. So I'm excited about that. We have a limited number of spots. If you want to learn more, head over to connectioncrew.com, head over to Exec Crüe in the Connection Crüe, and just kind of pre-register there because we'll be launching in Q4. I think in the absence of not having a guest on the Energy Crew podcast, it's kind of two things. First off, it's kind of nerve-wracking for me. I kind of like having things planned out. I like kind of having things set where I know what to expect, kind of, what's down my path. I know what to expect, what's coming up. But whenever you don't have a guest on the podcast, and whenever you're trying to build the podcast up again, and you had two guests kind of through circumstances change, it kind of gives me an opportunity to step out of my comfort zone where I'm the one asking questions. I'm the one kind of bringing forth the conversation to kind of, it's me sitting here and having you hear me ramble, talk, and kind of whether you take something from it, that's great. Which I think you will. I think today I'm going to be discussing kind of just what I talked about. The whole I want to take little nuggets of self-reflection and kind of things that I've been dealing with as an entrepreneur and kind of provide that to you. So today I want to talk about plans and I want to talk about processes and why that's kind of something that I constantly have to remind myself. Again, I found myself today. It's 12:30. I got a Crüe Club event tonight. I can't wait. It's sold out or at capacity. And I find myself in this, like, life's good. I can't complain. Life's good. Brought someone on to kind of delegate the time. Wife is doing great. Daughter's doing awesome. Friends and family are doing great. Business, things are going good. That's what I'm trying to say. However, I am still met with this certain level of, I don't know if anxiety is the right word. It's certainly some level of anxiety. But all falls back down to the plans versus processes. I remember when I first started Connection Crüe, it was kind of a, people ask why I started this company or why, how I jumped out of my own, for the first, I want to say 17 or 16 years of my career, I was very comfortable bringing home that W-2. I was very comfortable not making commission when I was in sales. I was very comfortable not really kind of getting out of my box to see my market value. I was fine with making where I was or maybe a little bit below because it was comfortable. I was comfortable knowing that I had a job. I was comfortable knowing that I had that W-2. And, starting Connection Crüe, you always expect that there's a plan. Like, yes, I got this plan right here. Month one, we're going to do this. We need to set this up first, and we're going to align this. After this is launched, then we can bring this aboard. And, after these processes are in, then we can start the announcement. If I actually focused on that and actually spent a lot of time, energy, and effort into that, I could easily talk myself out of pursuing this. I could have easily talked myself just through the kind of the layers of the shit that you got to pile on and the things you have to navigate through. I probably could have easily stopped myself from doing this, from stepping out of my own. It was more of a process that I believed in versus a plan. I didn't have a plan. I still don't have a plan. And what does that mean? I think there's a lot of companies out there that before they start, they do need a plan. They do need, hey, look, to source this. For me, I'm just going to talk about my experiences only, my experiences alone. My original plan was for Connection Crüe was to promote brands, was to bring people together, promote brands, and do that utilizing a platform, do that utilizing social networking sites, media, and all that stuff. That was my plan, and I thought that was a good plan. I thought that was a good plan to try out. It was safe. It was very comfortable. I had a good network, and I felt like I had a good presence on LinkedIn and other social sites. So I decided to start that. However, if I stuck to that plan, I probably would have shut the doors within 2 to 3 months. Because what I realized, what my plan was a glorified social media manager. And yes, I do think social media is extremely interesting. I definitely think there's pros and cons to it. However, as much as I rely on social media for my business, and as much as I do post and promote and publish, I really don't enjoy being on social media that much. I think it's a vacuum of my time, of my energy and effort. Now, video games, different story. But anyway, that's a different tangent. But no, I think I wouldn't enjoy that. And if I stuck to that plan, I would have just been a marketing social media management company. And that's not what I wanted. That's not what fueled my passion. My passion was really kind of bringing people together, BSing with people, finding common similar traits or hobbies or what areas of interest, and kind of connecting two friends along the way. So, that I started kind of revisiting, rethinking, and I've realized something, that if I stick to this plan, I'm gonna either burn myself out, or I'm gonna shut the doors, or I'm gonna try to find another job, just because I wasn't into it that much. So I decided to shift from a planned based thing, a planned thing, which gave me control, gave me the instructions, gave me the direction, gave me kind of control of my fate. Hey, if I stick to this plan, that's my path to get from point A to point B. How that looks, I know how that's going to look. I know what I got to do. That's going to be here. My head's going to be down, and I'll be staring at that plan. I'm going to be staring at that path. Very soon did I realize that was the wrong, I guess, mindset to take. That was the wrong view of stance to take, I guess, because I started noticing little kind of blurbs of opportunities pop up, and I thought that was really neat. I was little blurbs of these different opportunities. Hey, let's do this. Hey, can you do this? Let's do something like that. They were very, against, my initial plan. However, I was intrigued by it. I decided, so this plan guiding thing would, I feel like if I did stick to a plan, even today, if I did stick to a plan, and don't get me wrong, I probably do need some sort of a plan. I probably do need some sort of goals. And again, that's going to be another episode. But if I did stick to a plan, it would definitely kind of not allow me to peek my head up and change the direction of the company. Because here's the deal. When I first started Connection Crüe, this was a survival moment. This was, I don't have enough money in my bank account to the end of the month. I got to do something. So I think kind of backing up and realizing there's a process that's probably more important than a plan, especially, the first 2 years maybe of a company. So what I did, instead of sticking to that, I shifted back and I thought about the process. What am I trying to do? Okay, well, I'm not really sure what I'm trying to do. I don't have an elevator pitch for it. And I think it's kind of funny, people ask me, what does Connection Crüe do? I think if I had a plan, it'd be a lot easier to communicate what Connection Crüe does, but we don't. So I had to look at the process. The process that I needed to kind of look at is, hey, look, if I do this every day, if I strive towards this direction every day, however that looks like, I'm not going to be walking, I'm not going to be crawling, not every day I'm going to be skipping, not every day I'm going to be, jumping, running, sinking, swimming. But as long as the process to get from here to over there, as long as the process is there, I'm going to get to there. And what does there look like? It's going to be completely different than that planned point B that I had in my mind when I first started my company. So what does that mean? To trust the process, not the plan. Well, I think that whenever you do trust, I got to find a place for this water bottom. I wish I could plug it more, kind of put it in the screen as my logo on it. But here's the deal. Just like kind of when I remember when I started my career off at, first off, let's start off back to my college days. I grew up in Connecticut. I was born in Houston, grew up in Connecticut. I really had no plan to go to college. Well, not sure. I did have a plan to go to college. I didn't take it serious. I only applied to like 2 or 3 schools. I got accepted to provisional summer school at A&M. I had no idea what to expect from that. Not only that, I had no idea what to expect when I joined the Corps of Cadets at Texas A&M. So again, that's a process. Okay, well, look, it's a good school. I'm gonna do the work as much as I can and try to enjoy the experience as much as I can. Okay, so I worked the process, got through, graduated in marketing. And again, let's get into my professional career. So this isn't kind of a boring run through. But even my professional career, I got my master's in France. So I graduated A&M in marketing, went to France, got a master's. My plan was to stay over there, to get a job, to be some liaison between U.S. and European countries, live in Europe, burn heaters, drink wine all day, eat a lot of carbs, and call it a day. And I really dig that lifestyle. I still do. But again, that was my plan. However, life kind of presented itself, kind of got in its way, and I realized that plan was probably only as good as the external environment allowed it. And we all know that there's a lot of things in our control and there's a lot of things outside of our control. So got back to the States, couldn't find work, finally found work at Noble Drilling after 6 months. I knew nothing about the energy industry, I knew nothing about oil and gas space. I Figured you just kind of put your car, put the nozzle in your car, you fill up on gas. I was clueless when it came down to this. So clueless, I went to a different company to interview, a different Noble to interview for my Noble drilling job. It was Noble Energy. Anyway, so again, I mean, looking at this, like I graduated in marketing. I wanted to do some sort of marketing branding and all that stuff. But hey, my plan was to do that. But my plan was also to make a living, to not be living with my parents when I was 24, 25 years old. So I had to trust the process of getting into the workforce. So I remember I started off at Noble. And again, I started off as an HR temp. My first real job was HSC coordinator, then supervisor. And then long story short, it was my 5 years. I remember sitting there. I was standing there on the monkey boards. I was 5 years into my journey at Noble drilling. Unbelievable journey, unbelievable people, unbelievable experience. Can't say anything negative towards that. Still friends with a lot of people that day and think very fondly of those times. But I remember standing there, I was on the top of the monkey boards in the derrick, and it was my 5-year anniversary. And never did I think that in my 5 years of graduating, of getting a master's, of doing HSC, would I be pulling pipe back in the derrick on my 5th year anniversary. And to me, that kind of did two things. Number one, it kind of gave me, it kind of humbled me. It humbled me to the point where it's like, who was I to kind of be out here when I was, 29 years old, bitching and moaning that I was missing, my friend's birthday at, El Tiempo, or missing, this, whatever, turtle racing at Little Woodrow's, wherever that was. Who was I to bitch about that when, some of these cats out there on the rig they've been doing that for 40 years. That's all they knew. And here I was, 5 years into it. So it kind of gave me a sense of, being a lot more humble, kind of just appreciative of that, about all of our journeys, all of our paths, that they're very different. We all strive for the similar thing. It's comfort, it's your family, it's whatever that is. And it kind of it took me back. So that part of the process to my journey to where I'm at today, I still remember it so vividly because it was such an impactful part of the process, because I realized this was not in my plan at all. This couldn't be the furthest thing closest to my plan that I originally had 5 years ago. And to me, that was kind of an aha moment. That was a self-reflection moment where it's like, just because this wasn't part of my initial plan, I could never imagine, if I stuck to my plan, the opportunities and the experiences that I had now would have never presented themselves. So again, trust in the process. The process is to just do a good job. And hopefully, I want to get into marketing at some point for Noble Drilling. That's why I fell into that. Macondo happened, Deepwater Horizon happened. I got pulled back on shore. And again, the trust in the plan versus process. I went over to Saudi. I never thought I'd go there, but again, I trust the process. Anyway, look, let's get back to kind of more recent times. So we don't need to you can go through my LinkedIn and find all this, but no, literally, I think whenever you do trust, so the process for me now is this. It pulls me back away from the plan, the weeds, all that stuff of the daily tasks. The process for me currently is you need to walk. I need to tell myself I need to do several things every day to walk in the right direction, to have that process carry me to wherever my goal may be. And what does that process look like? Now, there's some days I wake up with a plan. Oh, I got to do X, Y, and Z today. I need to do that. And lo and behold, we're all in the same boat. We know that life doesn't always go as planned, and you never get around to X, Y, Z. And what does that do? That just creates more anxiety for me. That creates more, I guess, frustrations, anxieties. I beat myself up. And when that happens, I take a step back and I say, okay, well, what's the plan? What is the process today? What is the process that you need to do? Well, the process is kind of simple. The process number one is to continue to bring people together. And if I do something in that regard every day, whether it's through content, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a crew club event, a kids crew event, building exec crew, whatever that is, if I'm doing something that fills one of those buckets of bringing people together, that's part of the process to build something greater. After every crew event, it only gets better. I think, what exec crew is going to be from initially in my mind, what it is now, where it's going to be in a month, 3 months, 5 months, it's going to be 10 times better. But again, I'm trusting that process. If I stick to a plan, it's going to stay at this level. There's going to be a ceiling on it. So I'm trusting the process for it to grow. Another thing I want to do, I want to continue to provide value to people, whether that's conversations that I have with people, whether it's these, I do these minute like tidbits of, mental mindset improvement areas, and kind of that's the base of what we're doing here today. If I can do something like that, if I can kind of connect someone to another person that may be looking for the right role or the right person for that role or whatever that looks like, that's something. So if I can check off 1, 2, 3 of those processes that get me towards whatever that goal is throughout that day, it kind of lets me not be so harsh on myself. It lets me not be so judgmental on myself, and it kind of cuts that negative self-talk. But again, that is something that I've had to learn. I've had to learn that trusting the process over the plan is more realistic for me. It's more fulfilling for me. I think plans, they're so rigid. I think plans, it's a extension of trying to have control. And that's something that I'm currently faced right now, the level of control that I'm trying to relinquish, but also the anxiety that fills that void when I relinquish control. But again, I think this is all part of the process, and what I'm doing today is part of the process. The process is hopefully I can provide some sort of insight where it does kind of reframe someone's mindset out there, or kind of what you're dealing with. And, I think, and I think I will always go trust a process. And the reason is because following this process, it has opened up, or it has highlighted so many random opportunities on my path that I would have never seen if my head was down. It has allowed me to evolve the business model, the people at the events. It has allowed me to evolve my podcast, the content I'm creating, the stories I'm writing. I do these little short stories about, sci-fi in the future, what would happen with poor energy policy, and what that looks like. The children's book, Energy for Everyone. Allowing myself to trust the process of it I guess what it does, it kind of puts your goals in a bigger pot. It allows your goals to be in a bigger pot for, I guess, it to flourish more, to get to that next level. I think it's always it's easy to get frustrated. It's easy to have a lot of anxiety if you're trusting the plan. And I think okay. How about this, to wrap this up, because I feel like I'm gonna get in the rambling mode, and it was okay. So to wrap this up, I would say, I would ask you out there, what is the process for you to get to where you're at today, to where you want to be? What does that process look like? Whether you're going to get, a 6-pack of abs, or whether you're trying to get that promotion, or whether you're trying to improve your relationship with your husband or wife. What does that process look like? And there's a couple things to do to go with that. So first off, what would that process be? So if that process is you getting in the gym, getting a 6-pack or something like that, what is that process? Okay, that's probably you scheduling time, right? Be a little more planning your time to go to the gym, to allocate you some free time to go to the gym. It's not free time anymore, because that's your time now. The process would be probably not doing as many cheat meals as you do, probably allocating a couple days for cheat meals. And obviously, I'm not a nutrition expert, and I do not have a 6-pack. I'm just kind of using this as a kind of a base on pretty much whatever. What else does that process look like? That process probably involves a couple times where you can't make it to the gym, or you do have an extra cheat meal. But what does that process, does that mean you just kind of give up? You just say, I tried it, I'm off, my process is all screwed, my plan's all off. It's more comfortable for me to fall back in, the pizza, Monday through Fridays, or it's not. So that process might also have you say, okay, look, a little mess up time. Hey, look, I kind of messed up. I let myself down, but that's okay. I'm going to get back on track today. I'm going to get back on track tomorrow, and I'm going to follow the process of getting that 6-pack. For me, starting a new company, the plan was to survive. And what does that process look like to me? The process was Connection Crüe. And what's funny is, if I stuck to that plan, I would only be operating Connection Crüe. But what's kind of funny, Connection Crüe really isn't the thing that I've been focused on. I've been focused on Crew Club. I've been focused on Kids Crew. I've been focused on Exec Crew. So again, the process of bringing people together, the process of elevating people's networks, of elevating people's knowledge, whether it's kids to professionals, that has really kind of, I'm trusting that. I'm trusting that process. So yeah, I think it's important. So whatever goal you have, whether it's a small goal or a big goal, think about what that process looks like, and think about, and obviously we're all human. Think about messing up. Think about stumbling. Think about falling, and what the process is of you kind of getting back up, getting back on track, getting back on your, I guess, your process path. I think I think hopefully it reduces your anxiety or stress towards getting that goal accomplished or getting that plan done. And I really think it kind of creates, it facilitates a more genuine environment to have something kind of more impactful, more compound, more something more beautiful built. I think allowing that process of opportunities to present themselves, of trying stuff out, of bending, of evolving, of adapting. Hey, let's try this. Well, it wasn't part of our plan. We shouldn't be venturing in that area. Well, okay, well, let's try it. I mean, this might be a great source of revenue. This might be very impactful. This could be we could be the first movers in this market. So again, my challenge for y'all out there is to kind of back away from your plan and kind of look at the process more. I think the process is a little more healthier, and it's probably will lead and yield better results. So I want to thank everyone out there for tuning in on this Energy Crew podcast. Again, it's this. I know we all mainly talk about energy sources for electricity, for moving vehicles, for our everyday lives, but this is energy for our personal lives. So this, what are you putting your energy in? Are you putting your energy in your plan, or are you putting your energy in your process? And I think if you start shifting your mindset and your lenses with that, it can lead to improvement. So thank y'all. If you enjoy this, please shoot me a note. Leave me little words of encouragement, because I do want to start doing these more. Obviously, this might not be the most impactful one as the first one coming out of the gate. But again, I'm trusting the process. It's going to improve. So I want to thank y'all out there for tuning in. And I hope everyone has a great day, great week. And if you've enjoyed this, please share this with someone, put it on Instagram or wherever, so we can kind of spread the word of connecting, when I have the interviews, connecting leaders, passions, challenges, and strengths, but also whenever I do these personal podcasts on kind of where are you putting your energy. And that's kind of part of the Energy Crew. So thank y'all. And I guess we'll see you soon.